Hello, hello. I've been playing around ever since the whole Pikes Peak, Colorado debacle. I've been playing around with my mic settings, with my video settings, to try and kind of improve the reliability and also sound, video, etc. And I think I've settled on something I really like. So I'm of the strong opinion that a lot of people will ride a bike because of the noise, because of the fun, etc. But mainly, or for me anyway, the reason I'm on, damn it. She's not happy to do this. All I need is a foot. Thank you. Oh shit, look at that traffic. So anyway, I wanted better audio, hear the engine a bit better, a bit more bassy, a bit more realistic. I wanted better video. One of the challenges that I've had with, or I think one of the things that I notice in like all motovlogs, it's so hard to communicate motion and so hard to communicate speed. When I'm on a canyon road going like, 60 miles, 50 miles an hour through twisties, it almost like, through a GoPro doesn't necessarily communicate that all that well. Man, I'm in a little bind here. And so I was trying to figure out how to better showcase that speed, and what I came up with was showing that speed through better motion blur. So what I'm trying to do is, in order to increase motion blur on the cameras, you need to lower the shutter speed, and in order to do that and not have blown out footage, you need to use a neutral density filter. What a neutral density filter does, it's basically like a different lens on the GoPro. It cuts out some of the light that's received by the lens, and so more motion blur. We'll see how it goes. On the audio side of things, God, they always mess with my mirrors in the garage. On the audio side of things, I kind of took a jackhammer to it. So I thought that my Purple Panda mic in my helmet, which is what I'm using now, failed in Colorado, when in reality it didn't fail. The adapter fell off at some point and I didn't notice. So I essentially tried to fix a problem that with a jackhammer that called for a finishing hammer. So what I got was a Zoom 5, which is like a professional audio recording device, and I put it in my sling bag, and which is close to my exhaust. So you should be hearing the braps, you should be hearing, like, that should sound more like, like the exhaust does in real life. The Purple Panda doesn't really communicate that all that well. I just feel like it's a little flat. Plus the Purple Panda, like, having one mic responsible for both voice as well as the sounds of the motorcycle, I just never thought was going to be a good, like, long-term strategy. I don't think I could do both of those things very well. So, dedicated mics now. It's a bit of a pain in the ass when it comes to post-processing. But I just think that the sound is worth it. So we'll see how this goes. So that's what I'm using now. Nope. Alright, fuck it. This is what I get for leaving after 8 o'clock to head to the gym. Just traffic everywhere. Of course, Madison has these metal plates all over the place, and half of the damn street is a bus lane, which I have been known to abuse from time to time. So Two Wheel Tuesday this week was in Soho. It was at the Dainese store right across from Ducati, and so I decided to show up on my bike. Is it here that I turn? Nope. It was a fantastic turnout. I know the owner there pretty well. A bunch of the Ducati guys from across the street showed up. That was nice. The group that I ride with had shown up late, and I could only stick around till like 7 o'clock or so. But it was a good turnout. What's interesting is that out of all the bikes there were some great bikes. A Livewire, the only electric bike there, so Livewire got by far the most attention, which was super interesting. I thought, you know, so many people are curious about those bikes, and for good reason. You know, the guy had only owned it, I think, for maybe a couple of weeks, he said, and was calling it the perfect city bike, which I kind of tend to agree with. I test drove a Livewire as well as a Zero, and he actually came from a Zero, and yeah, I mean, I had a whole review up about the Zero bike in the city. There's a link to it up above on the right. And it's honestly a great bike for the city. It's you know, it's damn near perfect, aside from the fact that no one can hear you, right? You know, so like, whatever, you know, the whole video is up there. Take a look at it if you want. All my thoughts on riding an electric bike in the city. But you know, he seemed to love it. People are genuinely curious about them. Charging infrastructure in the city is just fine. A lot of garages will have like my garage actually has one of those chargers, and I mean, they also have wall outlets in the garage. So you know, if it's a garage that you have monthly parking at, they'll all have wall outlets in there. And I mean, I feel like even the wall outlets will be sufficient. No, it won't charge as fast, but you know, you're still parking there overnight, right? So you'll always have a full charge, I think, by morning. So I don't think it's much of an issue. But yeah, anyway, good showing. I don't usually go to the Two Wheel Tuesdays there in Brooklyn. I just don't know anyone there either. Beautiful day in the city. The heat from the heat wave last week is starting to subside a little bit. It's still a little hot. What's the temp? There's no way it's 75. Or maybe it is. Maybe the humidity is just that high and the bike is heating me up. Already 205 degrees. I might stop by the Dainese at some point later today, get their summer pants. The neutral density filter helps. They weren't cheap. It was like 80 bucks for the whole set. Kinda hope my wife isn't watching this. Away we go.